Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas, June 21st, 2017. This video I want to do today, it might take a little bit longer, a lot to cover. What I want to focus on is what kind of gun I was shot with. And that part has confused people, and I know some people have misunderstood the evidence. They don't know all the evidence. And right now to this point, we know for a fact, because of the evidence, I was not shot with my own gun. But what we don't know is what kind of gun I was shot with. And it got complicated because you had that gang of dirty cops that got caught sneaking in my home, stealing the evidence and staging the crime scene. And then on the hospital side, you had the doctors over there that were falsifying the x-rays and trying to cut off my leg or cut off the evidence. And so you don't know what to trust, as far as the evidence goes. So I'm going to walk through it and try to show you what the evidence that I've uncovered, what I believe, and how I got to where my train of thought of what I'm thinking that I was shot with. And so first of all, basically what happens was in the 14 months prior to my phone lines being cut and shot, my first call for a burglary was in 2010, November 2010. And so there was repeated crimes, calls to the police, calls to the Texas Rangers, calls to the FBI, telling them that I got people breaking my house. And then 2 weeks before I'm shot, I contacted the El Paso DEA and then the Midland DEA, and I reported a suspected smuggling tunnel. Now we believe is a human trafficking, probably maybe drug trafficking too, tunnel that went over to a secluded truck unloading lane behind this home. The DEA never looked. I can prove that they were called. Somebody down there at the DEA is obviously involved in the murder tip. We really don't know how many people have called the DEA and reported crime or suspected crime, and they're now dead because of it. Possibly the last homeowner, maybe he'd made the same mistake I did. He called law enforcement and said, hey, maybe you want to check this, tunnel back there, and boom, he died, And so, because that's really what my experience was. And so, anyways, prior to this night, it was a lot more than just this one night on January 28, 2012. This was a repeated crimes and felonies being committed at this home. And so then I'm shot. I'm in the hospital for 10 days, got the bag of my leg off. I get out and I find out the police are calling me crazy and saying I shot myself. After all them calls to them and all the evidence, and it's like nothing mattered. They just made stuff up, And they said I shot myself with my own shotgun. And they had found out, and I really believe they know the people breaking the house, so they already knew that I had a shotgun. I really believe there's a connection between the criminals that are committing the burglary, the felony burglaries, and these corrupt police that we don't even know who they are. I have a reward for them, and I'll show you pictures in a minute. And so I want to show you why we know that absolute, with no doubt, I wasn't shot with my own gun. And if I wasn't shot with my gun, I'm shot with another gun. And if I'm shot with another gun, then somebody loaded their gun, come to my home, pointed at me, pulled the trigger. That's capital attempted murder. I mean, that's all there is to it. They tried to kill me. And of course, a couple of weeks before that, my life insurance booklets were taken, etc. So here, let me show you some things on the computer. We're going to go into the room where I shot. I'm going to show you that. And I want to, I'm going to try to stay away from the medical, but I need to show you some x-rays too, so we can get to what kind of gun I shot with. That's what this is about. Hold on. Okay, this picture was from my security camera, and I want you to look at the timestamp on it. Is 8:07, and I actually have my shotgun. At this time, burglar alarms were going off in my attic. I knew I had a home invasion going on that night prior, and I was seen crawling out at 10:42. This is 8:07, so there's a couple hours before I was shot by surprise. Okay, a minute after this happened, right here. Is that camera was disabled. I didn't do this. Somebody had killers shut off camera in preparation to murder me. Y'all cam terminated at 8:08. So that picture of that showing. Now I want to show you how long that gun is. It's 4 foot long. That is the main reason I showed you that picture. And I'm not saying I didn't have a shotgun. I'm saying I wasn't shot with my shotgun. Somebody come to my house, they shot me from the ground. The evidence is clear about that. It's not Buddy saying that. The evidence says that. So at 8:08, they terminated my camera, and I believe this was in preparation. And of course, they cut my phone lines and stole my cell phone, and then we're setting off them alarms till I walked in front of the kill zone, and then they pointed their gun at me and pulled the trigger, and then giggled with excitement as I laid on the ground and screamed for help. And I don't know that, but I know that that's the what kind of people they are. I mean, that's real clear. These are killers. Okay. Here's really important. Okay. This is actually in 2013. This is a transcript from a court testimony, and basically what I was telling in court. I've told this to the FBI, to the Texas Rangers, to the staff of U.S. Congressman Mike Conaway, and I posted on the internet many times that a couple months before I'm shot, a person comes here inside my house, whispers in my ear with 100% sincerity and says, the secret is that a group of doctors are killing people for profit. Okay, and so I testify to that. I believe that was happened, and I believe that is connected to the falsified X-rays and the medical stuff. And I really believe that they were trying to turn me into a profit. I think at the end of the day that it wasn't the secret police that were actually the trying to kill me. They were just the paid helpers to cover up the failed murder. That's but I don't know that until we can get them identified. And so. I tell you what, let's go into the other room here, and I'm going to show you where I shot at. Okay, I'm in my utility room, and there's my washer and dryer right here, and a wall is right here. This is 4 foot long. This is shorter than my shotgun. Shorter than my shotgun. There's the wall right there, okay, and then the wall's right here. I can touch it right there. That's how small this room is, okay? I want you to see how small this little utility room is. It's the same thing going here. We're going right there, right there. That's only 4-inch long. So that room's whatever, 8 foot this way, and then 6 foot this way. And we got a 4 foot long shotgun, right? And I'm shot in the ankle from the outside. The entrance wound and the exit wounds is 2 inches above ground level, okay, at a diagonal, starting from the outside of my foot. And at the time, what was happening was I was walking towards the back door. Okay, it's a different back door, but either way, I was walking towards this back door. Burglar alarms going off in my attic. I was under a home invasion. Okay, I had my guns, because I'm home. I got people breaking my home. I was under a home invasion. Okay, and so I get to right about here before, and I believe that I put the shotgun down. Okay, I get right about here and I fall to the ground. Boom. I didn't know what happened. I mean, I was ambushed. These cowards shot me by surprise. Literally shot me by surprise, And once again, the entrance wound is 2 inches above the ground level, okay? And I'm going to turn that down there, okay? So the entrance room is 2 inches above ground level, right, coming in here and exiting out the back of my foot, okay? I'm going to the back door. Here's the entrance wound. Here's the exit wound. Okay, what's that tell you? That tells you I was shot. The gun direction of shot come from this direction. Okay, do you see that? Okay, 4 foot long shotgun. Okay, there ain't enough room. I would have tripped over the shotgun on the floor if I had been. I mean, you couldn't even. I'd had to stuff the shotgun underneath the cabinet and then get back here and pull the trigger. It makes no sense whatsoever. Bottom line is, I was not shot with my shotgun, and there's other evidence that proves it. But the first thing is, there was not enough physical room, okay? I believe this cabinet, and this is a different cabinet, but the same style and size, that underneath it was a trap door. The cabinet, and I'll show you a picture in a minute, was never put together right from the time I got here. The door was missing. The kickboard at the bottom was missing. And there were just missing parts. It wasn't put together right. And that's how it was when I moved in. I now believe that was a trap door. I had already been told there was a trap door in this house, underground trap door. I'd also been told there was micro cameras. And so I believe that was the trap door, the entrance into this house from underground. And then so as another story, that is another video, I believe that a burglar got trapped in their home invasion in that bathroom in there. And the door's tie wired shut, and I had a gun, right? Remember, that's another video. And so maybe that was their motive, and that instead of calling the police and going, we're burglars, and we're felon, we're criminals. We're breaking this man's home. We've been stealing services from him, and we've been terrorizing him and stalking him, and we want to turn ourselves in because our guys locked the bathroom. They decided to kill me and make it look like an accident, and they'd free up the insurance money, etc. Okay, and then of course they have the doctors, and they have these corrupt police, and they got all the bases covered. They can stop the press. You can have pictures of the criminal police gang caught with the blood dripping off their hands, and you can't get the press to warn the public, and then one of them goes murders somebody else, right? Ain't that what happened? Anyways, we know I shot from under there. Not enough physical room. I got out of the hospital. I didn't know what happened. You know what I mean? I mean, basically, when I fell to the ground, boom, I got back up, and I fell right back down because my ankle was flopping, my foot's flopping on my leg, and I mean, there's blood. I didn't know what happened. I screamed for help. It was silence. They literally listening to me and screaming for help and waiting for me to die. They shot and left me for dead. I believe they were setting off the burglar alarms so I would move over here, walk around, because and it works, because they kept setting them off over and over and over, and that's documented on nurse reports. And sure enough, I'm coming through here when they got a kill shot, basically, because they're going to shoot me at point blank range directly in the artery, okay, with my phone lines cut. And remember that even that security camera got turned off the minute after that last picture at 8:07, at 8:08, it was terminated. Okay, now I didn't do that, just like my phone lines were cut. And so, anyway, I want to show you that. I get out of the hospital, I try to figure out what's happening. I keep seeing this foot full of pellets in the x-rays, but I can't put the shotgun in the room because there's not enough physical room. It don't make sense. So I keep getting more x-rays, but I keep seeing the same x-rays. And then I get to a podiatrist's office about 3 months later here in Midland, and I'm going to show you an x-ray of that here in a minute. And we take an x-ray on this old style machine. He has an old light box on the wall. He put the x-ray up there. It's supposedly my foot, right? And it's the same one I've been seeing, foot full of pellets, And I had my printed x-rays from before I was shot of where I broke my toe. And I put that up there next to it, and I was looking, and I noticed that recent broken toe, which was broken half, it was jagged, broken in half 4 months earlier, and all of a sudden it's not there no more, and so the evidence of that broken toe should be there, from 1,000 years from now. They're gonna dig me up and go, buddy, broke his toe. Yeah, I broke my toe, sure did. Ran it in the credence and broke it. But that x-ray didn't have a broken toe. And I questioned that doctor on it, and he stuttered, and this is the doctor, he got caught. That's what happened. He didn't fake the x-ray, and he got caught when here it is, right here, and he goes the wrong direction, literally. He points out the wrong direction, trying to make it up as he goes. He's busted. That was my first indicator that X-ray falsified. We're gonna go in there and look at some more. All right. Okay. And this is a this is a lab report of me. Basically, the pellets taken out of my foot. This is clues, right? And hard evidence and facts. And it's ballistic evidence, okay? And what it's showing is 0.3 centimeters, and then you can convert that over to millimeters, which I have, and is the average size of the pellets, okay? And that comes in around a 5 to a 6 range is what was removed from my foot. That's very important, okay? My gun. Now, the secret police tried to steal. They actually did steal most of my ammunition from my home, and I'm not talking take it, checking into evidence. They stole it, okay? And remember, they're illegally, covertly in my house. The only reason we know is they got caught on camera. They stole ammunition, and why? Because they knew the ammunition proved I wasn't shot with my own gun. If I ain't shot with my own gun, I shot with a different gun. It's capital attempted murder, and they go to prison the rest of their law-breaking lives, right? And so it's important for them but they overlooked one shell, and it's a 7.5 size shot shell, 12 gauge. That's my ammunition. Shows you right here, 7.5, and you can see the size. So it's 2.5 sizes difference. So that's ballistic evidence. What that is like ballistic evidence is used in courts every day. Here's a guy that's got a 22 bullet hole in him, and here's a guy that's got a 45. Okay, and you're a jury, and you're going, did the guy with the 45 shoot the guy that has a hole in him with 22? No, he didn't. Okay, because it is important. And what this is I was not shot with my own gun. I mean, that's a fact. And so I'm going to roll this back around here. Okay, so anyway, hard fact. We know for a fact, pellet size, we know the physical location. There just plain wasn't enough room for me to be shot with my own gun. Okay, now I want to show you a little bit more. Okay, this here is the original cabinet. Remember, I told you the kickboard was gone, door was gone, it wasn't put together right. I believe this had covered an underground entrance and a person was under there. So their head and gun was level with the floor. That's why I shot 2 inches above the ground. And I believe I was shot with a handgun, not with a shotgun. Okay, and we're going to see that some possibilities here in a minute of what kind of handgun. This shows the entrance wound, the exit wound. So when you look at the entrance wound and the exit wound, you can tell the direction of shot and the height off the ground. So we know where the height off the ground. I put a ruler here, ruler here, and then I'm going, I was shot from under that cabinet. There is no doubt. And this is where, I'm standing. That's back when I had my wound vac and had my splint right after I got out of the hospital. But I was, ambushed and shot by a person underneath this cabinet. I believe that was covered up. I later pulled that cabinet out and replaced it. I believe that hole was covered up in the 3 mystery days between the secret police, the still secret police, were caught in my house, staging the crime scene, and then when the official entry happened on February 1st, when Rosie Rodriguez comes to the hospital, has me sign the consent to search form, and then they're coming to my house pretending that was the only time they'd been here. And so they'd already staged the crime scene. I believe they had poured concrete and covered that up by that time. And so you can't trust anything. You can't trust what I found. There was a pile of blood here, but I can't trust it because they tampered with the crime scene. And we know that for a fact. The secret police are caught in our home. I don't even know who they are, okay? But what we do know, evidence shows a shot from 2 inches above ground 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to the DA who didn't look. Them are provable facts. We know that for a fact, okay? And so that was the shot height. Here I get to at the hospital, I find this, okay? Doctor, ER doctor, who come to find out the ER doctor was my brother-in-law that I didn't know about. That was from that 3-month marriage. I had filed divorce 5 days before I was shot, okay? And so that was my brother-in-law. There was the ER doctor, and I didn't know that. I blocked his name out for privacy reasons and HIPAA and all that stuff. But what I'm pointing out here is the doctor, the ER doctor, ordered 3 x-rays, okay? But some person that was going under a name called User In Interface canceled the doctor's orders. Okay, the lab tech did, named User In Interface, and they didn't log in with their own ID. They were trying to cover that. I mean, they're like the secret police. They're trying to covertly come in here, and then cancel them. And I believe the reason they canceled the 3 and then they ordered back 2, okay, x-rays, is because they didn't have enough fake x-rays to go around to fill the order. And they were faking x-rays because they were busy covering up a capital murder attempt, okay? And so I'm going to show you them x-rays here in a second. Okay, here's another piece of evidence. This is important evidence. Emergency room doctor, my brother-in-law, I didn't know about, and I found out later he's my brother-in-law, okay? And he says I exhibited a through-and-through gunshot wound. That's the same thing that I said. I went to the hospital. I had 2 small holes in my foot. Okay. Now, the Detective Rodriguez, she's one of the secret police and childhood friend of the primary beneficiary of my insurance policy. She told a whole different story. Hers is, his whole right heel's blown off. And I think the reason that she had a purpose for saying that is because they were going to cut off the back of my leg because the guy in the faked x-rays, he didn't have a heel bone. So you can tell her statement doesn't agree with the emergency room doctor, and it don't agree with mine. She lied, and that ain't the only place she lied. Plus, she got caught sneaking into my home. She's a secret police. She's a main player in covering up this murder attempt. Okay, but through and through shotgun wound. Okay, my back of my foot was not blown off. That's important because when we see the x-ray and the heel bone's gone, then we know it wasn't blown off. Okay, and I think we already did that. Okay, surgeon statement, really important. This is a clue to what I shot with because the surgeon says there was a large amount of plastic and lead pellet debris. Okay, I want you to remember that. Okay, a large amount of plastic and lead pellet debris was removed from the wound during surgery. Okay, and I want to show you how a shotgun shell, like my shotgun shell, how it's made. Okay, you have the wadding. Okay, and it is plastic. Okay, and it's behind the shot. Okay, they're the pellets, the shot, and here's the case. Okay, so the primer goes off. Here's the gunpowder. Boom, the gas expands. Okay, and it pushes, and the wadding follows out the pellets. Okay, so what you find is the wadding is on the entrance side of the wound. Okay, the pellets are in front of it. And that makes sense? Everybody got that? Okay. The emergency room doctor says that he removed the wadding. Okay. That part is still questionable because it don't add up. It don't make sense. But he did say it. So then you sit there and you go, well, where'd all the plastic come from that the surgeon said he removed? Because it wasn't the wadding, because the emergency room said he took it. I think I'll have an answer on that here in a minute. Okay, but remember that. Surgeon said he removed a lot of plastic, and that's how shotgun shells build. Okay, and so, and then we'll get into, I talked about this in there. This was the light box on the wall. I took this in the doctor's office that day. This was a printed out, broken toe, X-ray from 4 months before, and here's the one we supposedly just took, had the pellets in the foot, and I'm comparing them, going, wait a minute, where's that broken toe at? You know, and that's where the doctor fumbled at. That was the first indicator that X-rays were being falsified. Okay, and then I found this one. Okay, this X-ray was taken 4 months before I was shot because I broke my toe. Okay, so that's what my heel bone looks like. Keep that in your mind. This is what it was on 1/28/12, has my name on it. Notice the heel bone is gone. Okay, foot full of pellets, heel bone's gone. I had not had surgery yet, and my foot wasn't blown off. Okay, I had a through and through gunshot wound. That's not my foot in that X-ray, and that's and I'm going to show you here in a minute who I believe that is, because I later found on a radiological report, okay, and this is signed by Dr. Thomas Hinton, okay, that the gunshot wound injury date was on 1/17/12, and he made a comparison to 1/19/12. X-rays, I took X-rays when I was shot on the 17th, and then he compared them to X-rays I had on the 19th. The problem with all this is I was actually shot on the 28th. I believe somebody was shot 11 days before me, and that's who his foot is in them faked X-rays. And that person, I bet you, doesn't have a heel, okay? And I bet you that X-ray is going to match up with these X-rays right here. And so, anyways, I'll show you that. There's Dr. Hinton there. Maybe he can further explain these X-rays that he looked at with these dates. Come to find out that his office is the same office as the emergency room doctor, my brother-in-law. Ain't that a small world? And I think both of them are in the same office as that doctor that just got arrested for child sex charges, you know, in the news recently, okay? And I can't remember his name, but... And so, anyways, let's go ahead and move on here. Desperate attempts to amputate my leg. And I believe this was just from the few days in the hospital. Every time amputation's mentioned in the 9-10 days I was in the hospital by the doctor. And this went on for 4 months. Every time I seen that doctor, he was desperate to cut off my leg. And I believe he is desperate to cut off the evidence. Evidence of not only a capital attempted murder, but horrific medical crimes. Because I believe I was cut to make it look like I was shot with a shotgun when we know that hadn't happened. Because when I got out, 2 weeks later, I have this gigantic hole in my foot and faked X-rays and this lies going around that I'm crazy and I shot myself. That's 2 weeks afterwards, okay? And I believe I was intentionally maimed and mutilated in an effort to cover up this failed murder, okay? Possibly, here's the operating. I had 2 surgeries, and here's the staff. I think I blocked out the name of the surgeon. I kept that one out there, but the techs and anesthesiologists, I put their name on there. And so maybe they saw something fishy, like maybe they were cutting out a bone out of my foot that supposedly wasn't there, you know, and somebody noticed that. So y'all can see them names down there, and you know, these people, I got a feeling somebody in this group knows something about these horrific crimes that it's almost unimaginable crimes, okay? And so there's the operating room staff, okay? Now, this comes from the MRI, okay? And let me tell you the story of the MRI, okay? I'm there at the podiatrist's office. Let's get an MRI and see if we can get it fixed. At that time, I still had hope that I wouldn't be crippled, you know. I didn't know at that time. I don't have that hope anymore. I know I am. I was crippled on purpose. I didn't even know the heel bone was cut out until 4 months later, and that podiatrist is the one that told me. But then he said, let's go get an MRI and see what we do. Okay, so I go up there to the hospital with the MRI, and I'm talking to the tech there. She comes out, and I'm saying, yeah, I was shot, but I wasn't shot with my own gun. She said, yeah, we'll see about that. You know, so we're walking back there to the machine, and I said, yeah, I was telling old Doc, I said, Doc, I'm going to take me a road trip somewhere in 500 miles. If I'm in a little town of Podunk, and I'm going to get me an x-ray, and when I come back, somebody's going to prison. And that radiological tech, the one doing the MRI that day, lost her voice. I've never in my life ever seen anybody so busted, ever. She could not tell me how to get into the MRI machine. She's trying to talk. She can't talk. She lost it. Busted. Okay, I think she knew they were falsifying them x-rays, and she figured it out. I figured it out. Okay, so then I come out there with a CD and of this MRI, and I'm not seeing these pellets in it. Of course, I'm not a doctor, right? But I'm logical enough. I know, you know, if I look at an x-ray and going, hey, wait a minute, the foot's gone there. You know, the heel bone's gone there. I know that much, right? And I'm going, oh, there's a foot full of pellets. No, there ain't a foot full of pellets. So let's look at the MRI, and I'll show you. So, you know, because just because you ain't a doctor don't mean you're stupid, okay? Besides that, I'm an IT guy. All right. And so, anyway, this is a picture of the composite that come right from the CD. But I'm going to show you the MRI. It's really neat, kind of. And what it is slices. That's how MRIs work. They take slices, okay? So it's a bunch of different slices, and they're real detailed. And so what we're going to do is put it in motion, okay? See it? Okay. Now I'm going to slow it down all the way. Okay. Where did all them football pellets go? That's what I'm looking at. And I can go through them one at a time, okay? And you know, see, I can run through all the way through it, but I'm sitting there going, where's all them pellets at, you know? And once again, we know I wasn't shot with my shotgun, okay? So I want to show you the MRI, okay? And so what we know so far that I've showed you is dirty cops that we don't even know their names staged the crime scene of a murder attempt. They got caught on camera. We know that medical staff falsified medical records, x-rays, tried to cut my leg off, also involved in a capital attempted murder, okay? I mean, this is not accidental malpractice. They're consciously, on purpose, trying to cover up a capital attempted murder. People coming by home with a gun, pointed at me, pulled the trigger, right? These are killers, cold-blooded killers, okay? And so, and that's who they're trying to cover up for, okay? And what they're really trying to cover up for is an underground facility, right? But that's a whole nother deal. But what we don't know is what I shot with, okay? We know that there ain't a lot of room in there, okay? So let's look at some possibilities on what I shot with. I'm going to flip this around, okay? And this was the whole point of this whole thing, okay? Taurus makes a handgun, okay, that uses a .410 shotgun shell, okay? And so picture a person crawling up. Okay, there's a tube, ladder there. They're coming up from the ground. They're hidden entrance into this home. Okay, right, and what they used to murder one homeowner after another with, you know, and probably human trafficking and whatever else. And so they're waiting for me to walk by, 2 inches above ground, pull the trigger. Okay, notice that they got pellets in them. Okay, so there's a possibility. It actually, it would also have a wadding because that's a standard shotgun shell. Okay, but then we have the other issues of what the surgeon said removed a lot of plastic. So that's a possibility. They also make a bullet, okay, not a shotgun shell, but a bullet, even for this gun, that has pellets in it. And it's called a varmint load or rat shot, okay? And I don't have a picture of it, but they make actual bullets for rat shot, and they're also pellets, okay? So right now, we're down to the point that we either got a cut off, probably illegal shotgun, because it's got to be short, okay? Or I'm shot with a handgun loaded like this. Well, what I really think I was shot with is a special ammunition
called a Glazer safety slug, okay? And the reason, and this is how it's built right here, okay? It's a bullet, goes in a handgun so they can carry it up the hidden entrance and shoot me. Has pellets in it that would match up with, of course, I had a shotgun. They knew I had a shotgun. I believe using this special ammunition was thought out on purpose to try to cover up my murder. They didn't cut my phone lines for me to live. That wasn't an accident. They wanted me to die, okay? And so the tip of it is plastic. Okay, that's the big key, because you remember what the surgeon said, there was a large amount of plastic and lead pellet debris. So that makes perfect sense. Okay, more than that, they come in a size 6 pellets. That's the closest thing to the lab report of the size of pellet. Remember, it was an average size 5, basically 5 to 6, and this is a size 6 pellet, or you can get it a size 6. More, and one other thing, this is a person come off the internet that was shot with a Glazer safety slug. Notice how it's that powdery, weird look right here. Notice how it's that, this is my x-ray, has that same powdery look right here. I think this, which is an example, and this looks the same. I think I was shot with a Glazer safety slug from a handgun. That's what they used, that they bought special ammunition. I think they did that because they were pre-planning my murder. I mean, and so another, when we're talking about this, we don't want to forget that the CSI, okay, who is Barrett, okay, he says he come to my home and picked up my shotgun on 129/12, and basically after here's 12:10 is when he did. Okay, but the incident report shows no police at my home for this day. So already we got a CSI guy on an internal document says he's in my house picking up my gun when the police report says no police are at my house. There's a problem. And then he didn't check into my gun, which we know I wasn't shot with, 12 gauge and a Winchester 1200, 4 foot long, right? For 8 days. He kept it in his possession for 8 days. My gun, I hadn't shot in over 20 years. I'm not even really a big gun guy. The only reason I had my guns out is because I got people breaking in my house, in my home, threatening my life. You know, I'm trying to protect my life. And so here the CSI, and basically what it looks like to me, the CSI was tampering with evidence. Okay, that's a crime scene investigator. So we need to go back on every piece of evidence that crime scene investigator's ever touched, and if he testified in court, we need to go look at it again, because maybe he snuck in and stole it and modified it and tampered it and lied on police reports and all this. And, you know, the integrity of the crime scene investigation department of the Midland Police Department is in question. Not to mention we got a whole gang of secret police helping murder people, right? And so anyway, I want to show you that on the CSI. It had my shotgun for 8 days, okay? And I wonder if he didn't take it out and shoot it, because I hadn't shot my shotgun in 20 years. And so that was one thought, okay? And lastly, I'm going to leave it right here. There's a cost to crime. That's what my foot looks like right now. I give God all the praise and glory. And you know, and that's the thing about this is you know, I think the people that know the truth, that know there's underground facility, that know that I was hunted in my home like an animal and shot and left for dead, the people that know that, and they're not saying, they're denying God. That's what they're doing, because God saved my life, you know. And I'm telling you that, you know, that's what they're doing. They're denying God, and there's cost to doing that, you know. But I give God all the praise and glory, even for me walking, and as you can see, that's what I walk on every day. Well, okay, so to go back, that when you get that additional information, especially the plastic and then the other, you know, the other side, I hope it makes more sense of what I think happened is what I was shot with and what happened there. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. See you later. Bye.